All right, welcome back to the Cruise Dynasty podcast. Back at it again. Getting into some ADPs that we like. But before we start that, Craft Man, what's going on, man?
You know, same old, you know, living the family life, living the dad life, just thinking about fantasy football, getting into these startups, wanting to help people in their startup drafts. So hopefully we can do that tonight.
Yep, tonight we're just gonna list out a bunch of players that we like to take at their value, players that we like, players that when we look at the ADP, the average draft position, we don't mind taking a player at that spot. And we'll probably get another episode out of players we don't like at their ADPs, but we're gonna stay positive on this episode. What you say, Kraft?
Yeah. I like this. Was actually much easier research to do than some of the stuff that we didn't like. So I'm excited about this one.
All right, let's just start it off right, man. We're gonna start off by position. We'll list off some quarterbacks, and the first one, Kraft, man, you know where I'm going with this one. Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
Number one. All right, his ADP right now is 10.8, and he's the 8th quarterback being taken off the board in Dynasty Startups. And Super Flex Dynasty Startups, tight end premium, which means quarterback is king. Trevor Lawrence, I've been saying it, still feels like a buy low to me. So I think next year is the year he takes that step forward. And we start acting like he's one of these elite guys like Justin Herbert.
I mean, I could have guessed you were going to go with Trevor Lawrence. You just couldn't. You couldn't not do it, right? But
hey, man, I like his value.
I mean, his value's all right. Looking at the quarterbacks that are going around him, though, I think he's going right where he should, right? I guess you would rank him over Justin Fields. Is that the only one? Would you take him over Lamar?
Yep, give him to me.
Over Lamar.
Well, I'm just being honest. Maybe I wouldn't, but I'm just saying, buy low. I can see him passing one or two of these guys fall off. Herbert falls off, but Trevor Lawrence, he's about to take up another. How about this? Maybe buy low. Well, heck, we're not even doing buy lows, but ADP. Trevor Lawrence, I just like where he's at. He's going at a good spot. I'm going to take him, but I might would take him a little bit earlier because Justin Fields is going 6 right now. I mean, I would for sure take Trevor Lawrence over him.
Justin Fields at 8 right now. But I would take Fields over Lawrence. I do think that Lawrence is going to take a massive step up again this year, and he's going to be great. But if you're getting, I mean, Justin Fields last year rushed for, let's see, he rushed for 1,143 rushing yards. I do expect that to come down a little bit because they do have better weapons this year. So even if he drops down, let's say like 700-800 yards, Trevor Lawrence is going to have to throw a lot more touchdowns than he did last year in order to reach that threshold with the rushing upside of Fields. But to each his their own with that one. I don't think it's really a bad pick either way, whether you go Lawrence or Fields. But that's the only one that is ahead of ADP of Trevor Lawrence that I would that I might take. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you. Go ahead and hit us with one.
Well, I got your boy. He's probably on your list too. It's Kyler. Kyler Murray. Easy. It was the easiest thing I had to double take over and over. I was like, am I in Superflex? Am I in Superflex ADPs or am I in regular ADPs? Because your boy Kyler Murray tore his ACL last year. He might be out for 8 weeks. He could be out for the year. He could start week 1. We don't know. But Kyler is going at ADP 41 in the 4th round of Superflex drafts. He's going behind Anthony Richardson, behind Deshaun Watson, Young, Stroud, and Dak. And those are all quarterbacks that I would take Kyler over. I know you took him in our draft in the second round. I think you were at the 208 or 209, right?
The 2-3. Yeah, you're right. I had Kyler Murray on my list too. In that startup, I taken him in the 2-3, and I had said all along that if he drops to the second round, I'm going to smash on that all day. The year before, he was being taken in startup drafts at the 104, 105. This right here is the perfect opportunity. Feels like a steal in the second round, and really only had one bad year. He's got finishes at, I think it's like number 2, number 8, maybe number 4, something like that. And then he had the year where he got hurt. So,
yeah. In the 2 seasons, he played 16 games, which we got 17 games. Now he was the QB3 and the QB6. So and the year in 2021, he was the QB10 playing 14 games. So that's still a QB1. He's 25 years old. I just really don't get it. I mean, you took him in the second, but like I said, his ADP is 41 right now. So he's not. A lot of the people are that far down on him, and there's no way you're going to catch me drafting any of them guys that I mentioned before over Kyler just because he had a torn ACL in Week 11 last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's going behind guys. See, he's going behind Bryce Young, Dak Prescott, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, who's going ahead of all them guys. So
yeah.
Crazy. That one's like the easiest ADP that I like. If you are in a startup draft and you see Kyler Murray fall to you in the second round, you might as well just hit it. Because that's all upside. I mean, there's a possibility you could get another top 5 year out of this guy. You get your quarterback in the first round, your heavy hitter, and then your second guy is a guy who was a heavy hitter and is only dropped because of an injury. Kyler Murray gets a lot of hate. It's like I've said it in the past episode. His real quarterback reputation kind of drifts over into the fantasy world. So Kyler Murray gets a little bit of hate. That's all I can say about it.
Yeah, for sure. And he's almost like a trade target just because of his ADP. If somebody's going to draft him that late, I just couldn't imagine getting in a startup draft where Kyler is there in the 4th round. I mean, that would be incredible. But that seems to be where he's going right now. So
I'm gonna be real. That's insane. I don't even know. I can't even.
It's like his ADP isn't correct. You have to double check the site over and over again, make sure you got the settings correct. But is that what you're looking at? ADP of 41 on Sleeper?
Yep, that's what I'm seeing. I mean, I don't know, man. That one's wild, man. I got another one. Here's another one. Kraft up there a little bit higher. Deshaun Watson. He's coming off the board as the 10th quarterback on the board. He's also going behind Anthony Richardson. And the reason why I say Deshaun Watson is this guy has 3 years of top 5 finishes. So you're getting a guy that has that kind of potential. Now, you can say what you want about him not playing past year and a half, but I think if you're drafting a second quarterback, and maybe even your first quarterback, Deshaun Watson is a good pick. And things are getting set up there in Cleveland. They're bringing in weapons. So it looks good. That's a good Deshaun Watson at his ADP. I'll take that all day.
Yeah, the thing that I've noticed about Watson, he got his ADP at 21. I think in our draft he got drafted at the end of the first, so just say 12 or 13, whichever one it was. And that's probably the way it should be because the quarterbacks after Deshaun Watson, in my opinion, are a major. It's just a total drop off after that. I think he's the end of a tier. Pretty much, and then you got the rookies after him, which I'm not taking at all. I'm not even thinking about taking them in the second round. I think it's absurd.
Agreed.
But I'm with you, Deshaun Watson, ADP at 21. If you can get him, if you're the number 3 pick in your draft, and you start off your draft with Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson, or Jalen Hurts, Deshaun Watson, that would be incredible. But the league we played in, that shit wasn't even close to happening. He went in the first round at pick number 12 in ours. So, and I think that's about where he should be.
Yeah. I don't know, man. when I see Deshaun Watson go behind Anthony Richardson, I'm just mind boggled. I'm just being honest. And I agree with what you said. I wouldn't take any of these rookie quarterbacks in the second round, but you could definitely talk me into taking them in the third round. So, but the second, that's just too much.
Yeah, to piggyback off you a little bit. So Deshaun Watson's ADP was 21. We're just going to skip ahead and go right over to wide receivers. So, players going before him in the receiver world are A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra, Waddle. All of them are going before Deshaun Watson in Superflex leagues right now. And I don't think I would take not one of them over Deshaun, knowing that I need a quarterback and that the tier is going to break after he comes off.
Agreed. You got another one for me, Kraft?
As far as quarterbacks, that's all I got was Kyler. I wasn't. Well, I did like Daniel Jones. I do have him. His ADP is at 52. You're looking at a fifth round quarterback right there who I know a lot of people are high on and some people ain't so high on. But Daniel Jones is in a tier of his own in when you look at the ADPs on here. So like Tua's going before him, he's going 10 picks before him. And then Kirk Cousins is the next one after him, and he's going 18 picks after him. So he's just kind of floating. He's kind of floating there where people don't really know what he is. But I can tell you what he did last year. He ran for 708 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns. And he only threw for 15 passing touchdowns. If y'all don't think that number can come up, I don't know what to tell you. But he's not. He's going to throw for over 15 passing touchdowns this year. So he finished as I want to say it was the QB9. I'm going to double check myself last year. Yeah, it was the QB9 last year with only 15 passing touchdowns. So if I can get him in the 5th round while other people are taking CJ Stroud and Bryce Young in the 2nd round, I'm all in on that one.
Yeah. I hear you with that one. Daniel Jones, you know how I feel about Daniel Jones. I got him literally 16th in my dynasty rankings. So him going 16 is right where, I like it. So, all right, Crap, let me give you.
You don't think it's a deal, though? You probably wouldn't take him there?
I don't know. It's tough. It just depends on, me, because I like to go quarterback if I can. So Daniel Jones will definitely be the top choice for like my second quarterback. I mean, I like, you know what I'm saying? You got your heavy hitter, and then you start picking other positions, wide receivers, tight ends, and I would definitely like Daniel Jones up there. He's probably like my top 2 or 3 picks I would have as my second quarterback with the rushing upside. Them trying to bring in weapons, him getting his deal, 3-4 year deal, whatever, getting read up. So, and with the head coach Dabo being there year 2, so I'm with you. Now you know I've had a debate with the crew or whatever. They just too high on Daniel Jones. They talking like top 10 dynasty ranking shit, and I ain't with that. I can't get on that one. So I feel like I've had to hate on Daniel Jones a little bit, but I ain't gonna hate on him right here in this situation at this value.
Yeah, I just feel like we said, he's kind of in limbo with his ADP going in the 5th, and it's like you said, most people they're going to take their stud in the 1st, and then they're going to wait for the veterans later on in the draft and just keep banging out receivers and running backs, and they're not trying to waste a 5th round pick on another quarterback. So they're thinking, hey, I'm going to start off with, let me get Hurts, and then I'll wait for like the Goffs, the Kirk Cousins, the Aaron Rodgers type late in the draft, since they used that 1st round pick on a quarterback. So it's not meant for everybody, but if you're one of them guys like Noah did in our draft and just waited and just hit 3 receivers and 2 running backs, and you come out and get Daniel Jones or something, I wouldn't feel super comfortable with Daniel Jones being my number 1, but correct. I could definitely think of worse.
All right, Kraft. I got 2 of them that are a little bit lower because I gave you some heavy hitters. These 2 right here are a little bit lower on the chart, but I got Desmond Ridder ADP 133.2. He's the 29th quarterback off the board. And the reason why I say Desmond Ritter is he's gonna be the starter, and the Falcons are gonna give this guy a chance. So if you're taking Desmond Ritter as your third quarterback in a super flex startup and he pans out, he uses these weapons and he rushes a little bit and it all works out and he's gets a year or two at starting, I can see it paying off. I'm a Falcons fan, so I'm not gonna sit here and dog Desmond Ritter. I don't know if it's gonna work out or not. I'm not really skeptical or positive. I'm just kind of waiting to see what's up, and he's gonna get a chance to do it. So if you're telling me my third quarterback is going to be a guy who's got weapons around him, gonna run the ball a lot, I'll take it. What you think?
I mean, I'm not a big Desmond Ritter fan or anything like that, but I just think him, Jordan Love, and Sam Howell are all in kind of the same boat for me. I like
Right.
Love the most out of all of them, but it could be a thing where he comes out there, plays terrible, and is replaced by Heineke in week 8. It could happen. So I think that's why he's so low on ADP. But at that range right there, ADP 133, you're really not. That's your third quarterback. That's the one you're willing to take a risk on at that point, because either you're drafting him or you're getting Howell, Garoppolo, Baker, players like that. So right. I do like the upside. Mac Jones is right there too, which who knows what his future looks like.
Yep.
So.
Yep, I'm with you, Kraft. I got Howell in that same Howell on my list too. He's the 31st quarterback, and he's about to run out there with Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Bieniemy, or however you say his last name, coming over to Washington. So that offense might get the rolling. Sam Howell. In fact, I would like to have, I would take Sam Howell over Desmond Ritter, I believe.
Yeah, I think I would too, just because of the. I just like his talent a little more. His in college, and Ritter looked pretty terrible when he played last year. It was pretty bad. So I'm not. If I had to pick one, it would be Howell, but it's too close to even.
Right.
Comprehend really. But I remember my brother was talking to me the other day, and he thought Eric Bieniemy. He thought everybody was saying the enemy. He thought that was his nickname the whole time. That they hired the enemy.
I couldn't even say his last. I couldn't even remember. I just know Eric Bieniemy. All right, well, Kraft, let's move on to some running backs. Go ahead and throw some names out there for us.
My favorite. This was number one ADPs when I looked at it. It's J.K. Dobbins, ADP 64. Going in the 6th round as the running back 19 off the board. He's going behind Dameon Pierce, Swift, Derrick Henry, and George Pickens, and Michael Pittman. He's 24 years old. He's on a contract year. All he's done when he's on the field is just put up numbers. In his rookie year, he averaged 6 yards per carry, and last year, with one leg, he averaged 5.6 yards per carry. That's way above league average. And to put it, you're a Rachaad White fan. Rachaad White averaged 3.7 yards per carry. So J.K. Dobbins is a true talent. He has breakaway speed. He's everything you want in a running back, except for they don't really use him in the passing game much. That's kind of the knock on Dobbins. But there's no way the running backs that I named before him, I'm taking Dobbins 100 out of 100 times in the 6th round.
Yep, I'm with you. Number one on my list is J.K. Dobbins, the 19th running back off the board in a Superflex startup. I'm with you. They didn't do anything in the draft. The Baltimore Ravens, they didn't do anything in the draft to put anything in question. J.K. Dobbins is the number one guy. Kraft, like you said, they don't use him in the passing game, but with Todd Monken coming over from Georgia, they throw the ball to running backs. So J.K. Dobbins, if you look throughout his college career, he had success catching the ball
Yeah.
and making plays. So it could just be an offensive coordinator thing with Greg Roman. So it just wasn't working out, and they wasn't using him in the passing game. I'm not saying I'm guaranteeing that right here, but with Munkin or whatever his name is coming over, new offensive coordinator, and they're acting like Baltimore's about to be throwing the ball. So I think it's a possibility Dobbins could possibly find his way into the passing game a little bit.
Yeah, and not just in the passing game, but I wouldn't want anybody to lower him in your rankings just because of the talk is coming out that they're going to throw the ball more. They're obviously going to throw the ball more. They were pretty much dead last in the league year after year at rush rate, pass rate. So he's going to have plenty of room to run. You got Lamar back there, who's a threat, who they have to account for, and that's one of the reasons that he's so efficient on the ground. And I think he's going to be incredible this year. I could see an upside of like 15 touchdowns on the ground this year. And if he gets more, he is the best pass catcher on that team too at running back. I mean, they got Gus Edwards, who's a banger in between the tackles. So they brought in what's this guy's name from East Carolina?
Keaton Mitchell.
Yeah, Keaton Mitchell. He was undrafted, so not much of a threat. So, I mean, everything they're showing us is that J.K. Dobbins is the guy. 2 years off the ACL, which we like to see.
Yep.
Super high on Dobbins.
Contract year. He's going to be wanting to make some money, show that he's healthy. So, yeah, I'm with you. J.K. Dobbins. Another guy I got on my list is Miles Sanders. 82.3 in ADP. He is the 22nd running back off the board. Miles Sanders, to me, I've actually went and traded for him myself. And I was never really high on Miles Sanders when he was with Philly. But here in Carolina, they always run the ball good. Deontay Foreman and Chuba Hubbard last year, they ran the ball effective. And I think they was even running the ball better after they traded Christian McCaffrey, at least for a stretch. I think they're going to be looking to get Miles Sanders in the passing game. I read somebody in the organization talking about they're going to try to get him 50 or 60 pass catches, so I'm all for that. Bryce Young just left Alabama where he was dumping it down to Jahmyr Gibbs on the reg. Mm-hmm. So it's just the perfect combination. Rookie quarterback, everything, dump it down. I like the situation. Frank Wright's over there. He obviously was with the Colts, and Jonathan Taylor had that big year being the workhorse. Just lines up.
Yep, he's on my list too. He was the number 2 running back on the list. Going in the 7th round, he just signed a 4-year, $25 million contract, but he does have an out after 2 years. They could get out of it if they wanted. But Miles Sanders was the RB15 last year, and he only had 78 reception yards. So only 3 yards per touch catching the ball. So that's not. It's not great. That's just the way the Eagles' offense was ran. He's going to go way above that this year. He's probably going to double that, especially the receptions. 20 receptions, he's going to double that. The yards, 78. Yeah, I could see him with 300. I could see him with 300 receiving yards this year. And he's always been efficient on the ground. He's always been around, 5.5 yards per carry throughout his career. You got Chuba Hubbard there, not really scared of him. Miles Sanders is going to have a great couple years for Carolina as long as he stays healthy. So I'm with you on that one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What we got next?
Well, another running back I got is Antonio Gibson. He's going at ADP 132, so that's almost a 12th round. Brian Robinson is on that list also of players that I don't want to draft. He's going about 20 picks before Antonio Gibson, and people think, Brian Robinson was a rookie last year. Antonio Gibson's been in the league for a while. They're the same age. They're both 24 years old. Antonio Gibson is the pass catcher. He's a more explosive back. He's just better. All we've heard in the whole offseason is that they want to get him more involved in the passing game. You got a young quarterback, going to dump the ball off a good bit. it's just a steal, really. And I'm not worried. It's a contract year. I love contract years for running backs because that's when they play their best. And even if he leaves the Commanders, I think his talent is good enough to be a starting running back elsewhere because I don't think the Commanders have used him to his full potential to begin with. So I've always liked Gibson, but here's a couple names he's going behind in startups. He's going behind Roschon, Tank Bigsby, Juju, and Gabe Davis. There's no way in hell I'm taking any of them players above Antonio Gibson.
Man, I second everything you just said, and we're 3 for 3, man. We've got on 3 for 3 on the running backs. We've definitely said the same names. Antonio Gibson, the 39th running back off the board, Kraft, man. It's insane, man.
Stupid, man.
And with his talent, and you know what? I was fading him last year, but for obvious reasons, what they were saying about I'm watching these fights. I just watched me a mean knockout, man. I got a little sidetracked, but yeah, Antonio Gibson and with Bieniemy coming over, I think they're gonna definitely try to work him into the offense. I second everything you just said. That's just way too low. I mean, it can't even go any lower. It's like shoot, uh, you're gonna get what it's that value or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I'm with you all day.
Yeah, you can't lose value picking somebody that late who is a starting running back in the NFL who has the passing game work, who he does split carries, maybe splits a little bit of goal line work, but he's most likely, if he stays healthy, he's going to be an RB2 for sure this year. I can say that.
Yeah. All right, Kraft man, you ain't gonna believe this name. I'm wondering if you got this one on your list. So I'm gonna shock you a little bit. My favorite player, Cam Akers.
I knew it because I had him.
Hey, nobody's hated on Cam Akers more than I have, and it's really because at the price he was at. I mean, people were last year acting like I don't even know. I can't remember where he was going, but the hype was
going
just
like second or third round in startups. About third round in startups. It was incredible.
I would have stayed away from that, but right now we're looking at him at 89.7, the 25th running back off the board. You know, all they did was bring in Zach Evans in like the 6th or 7th round. I believe it was the 6th. That ain't scaring you at all. So Cam Akers is sitting there. He had a good stretch at the end of the year. You know, I've never really been high on Cam Akers, but here we are as the 25th guy. He's got a starting role on the offense with Sean McVay. Just go ahead and take the shot.
Yeah, it was just the weirdest season for him last year. It was like he come in off an Achilles way too early. He tore it, and it wasn't even a full year later. He's starting week 1, and then mid-season, Sean McVay is like, he's not working hard enough. We're trying to trade this guy. Nobody wants him. And then he comes in when the Rams just completely suck. They done gave up the whole entire season. And he's like the RB1 for the fantasy playoffs, and he's only 23 years old. So I just think, I really think he came back too early from the injury. He wasn't explosive. That was obvious when you watch the Rams play in that first half of the season. But, you know, I think you should look at him. I mean, I don't want to say you should look at him like you did last year because it was a mistake to draft him as early as you did last year. But how come people were so high on him last year and so low this year when nothing has changed except for he's healthier than he was and still young, 23 years old.
I'm telling you, Kraft, man, it's like the media, the fantasy football media. They get on these players and they just hype up some, and then they hate on some others. Like Cam Akers, for some reason, always just gets the love. For some reason, I don't know. I mean, they try to act like this dude was like the next Dalvin Cook coming out of Florida State. Like that dude ain't that. He was overrated in college, Kraft. I don't know, man. I'm telling you. It's because his season numbers look so good, but they played USF back-to-back years, and the dude ran for 300 plus. And it's like, yeah, his numbers look great going against a mid-major team. You know me, I'm the biggest Cam Akers hater. but
Of all time.
of all time, he's always been overrated. I don't know. But it's like the other players just get a lot of hate, like Kyler Murray. Shoot, Marquise Brown, that dude, he gets a lot of hate for some reason. So it's like, I don't know. The
Yeah,
media
I've
picks and
never.
chooses.
I've always just kind of nodded my head when you went on your Cam Akers rants, but I've just been kind of in between. I've never liked him, but I've never disliked him.
He's
I,
ass.
I'm just looking at what the Rams are doing as far as their transactions, and they got Zach Evans in, what was it, the 6th round in the NFL draft? I mean,
Right.
they obviously believe in Akers at this point, even though they told us last year that they wanted to trade him, but
could it be
he's going to be
that,
just fine.
could it be that they just don't have any draft picks and they just trying to hit Zach Evans as a value? I mean, people thought this dude could go in day 2. So it's just like, this guy's talented and here he is in the 6th. Let's take him. Let's see what happens.
I mean, do you think Zach Evans is going to play a significant role?
I think he's the next guy. I mean, if Cam Akers don't work out, I mean, I don't know. Zach Evans, I would definitely want him as a handcuff. Come put him on my team.
Not as a handcuff, but I'm asking, do you think that there's a possibility that Zach Evans is out there at the beginning of the season just as much as Cam Akers is?
No. While Akers is healthy?
Yeah.
No chance.
I mean, Zach Evans is a hell of an athlete. We watched his tape.
Yeah.
5-star recruit.
I know, man. Just did not get that capital. I don't know, man. Maybe they do. Honestly, I do feel like Zach Evans might work his way in at some point with that team. The Rams are just different. They do things a little bit different,
Yeah. Do you think the Rams are going to be a good team this year, or do you think they're going to be like god awful, or just somewhere in the middle?
I think they'll lose games, but they'll be playing close games. Like, I think they'll, like I said, I'm high on Cooper Kupp. I think they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. They're going to be playing from behind a lot. Their defense is going to be bad, I think. So,
yeah,
could work out. I'm high on Cooper Kupp, but I don't know.
Both of us.
I got one more running back. Let's just move on, man. But Kendre Miller, I think, I've been high on him. He's going as the 31st running back off the board. So, and I had him ranked 3, so you know how I feel about that, Kraft. So that's just one I'll just throw out there. I'll take him over a lot of guys.
I'll put you to the test because I don't have him on my list, but would you take him over Aaron Jones?
Yes.
A-Chain?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Pacheco?
Yeah.
See, that's where I draw the line. I don't think I'm going to take him over Pacheco. Would you take him over the guy we just talked about, Cam Akers?
Without question. I think Kendre Miller could one day be an RB1. Pacheco's just a solid RB2.
I do like Kendre Miller. I have nothing against him. I kind of made a mistake early in the rookie scouting process where I did like a couple guys more, but I'm starting to warm up to Kendre Miller. But I really don't think Alvin Kamara is going to miss much time. Jamal Williams is steady. He's just going to have to impress and win with talent, really. I don't think it's me and you. I think it was a good situation he got drafted in. It definitely wasn't bad, but there's still some good talent with the Saints, especially this year.
All right, man, let's move on to some wide receivers. I got a few of these, so I guess we'll try to move through them a little quickly. But the first one I got is Jordan Addison. What you think about that one, Crab? I've been high on Jordan Addison the whole way.
Yeah, I looked at Jordan Addison and didn't put him down, but he went in the same spot as Quentin Johnston, and I put Quentin Johnston on the list of people that I'm not drafting at that ADP. So just based on the fact that Addison and him are going in the same spot, Addison should be going way above Quentin Johnston, but I'm not as high on Addison as you just because it's a more of a personal thing, just what he did at the draft. You come out and you say, time to make that money, when everybody else is saying time to go to work, it just turns me off to the player, but
look, man, Crab,
I gotta suck it up.
I'm with you. And all the stuff that Ian, we always bring him on. He always says that stuff too. I'm with y'all in real football, man. Couldn't agree with you more. But in the fake stuff, I don't care what you come out there looking like. This dude's about to be the number 2 wide receiver with the Minnesota Vikings, and they sling the rock. And it's just gonna work out. It's gonna be easy.
Yeah.
And Jordan Addison, I think there's an argument he's the best wide receiver in this class.
Yep.
So
I agree. I just don't like his fucking attitude.
all right, what you got for me?
I got your boy, Hollywood, at ADP 84. So that's almost the 8th round in your startups. He is a full 16 picks after 28-year-old. And keep in mind, Hollywood's 25. He's going 16 picks after Calvin Ridley. That's just stupid. There's no way in hell I would even draft Calvin Ridley at the same ADP as Hollywood. So he's the number 1 receiver in the offense. Maybe the ADP will rise up now that Hopkins finally has been, released and everybody knows that Hollywood's there. But you can't go on. See, this is what it is. It's the Kyler Murray effect. You got the ACL. Kyler Murray's ADP has dropped tremendously. Hollywood has dropped tremendously. All the Cardinals are deals right now because they're going to be a terrible team. But you know what terrible teams with terrible defenses do? They pass because they have to. He's going to be absolutely incredible this year, even with Colt McCoy at quarterback or whoever they got to throw in there until Kyler gets back. His volume is just going to be there. And from then on out, people talking Kyler's going to come back eventually. And I know the whole world thinks that Arizona's getting Caleb Williams. So if you're a true Caleb Williams believer, then you should be a Hollywood believer after that.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm telling you, man, it's that Hollywood hate. It just gets a little bit of hate. Last year that people would say Hollywood's just a burner. He's just a burner. And then he's getting like 10 plus targets in the short game as well. So hey, Colt McCoy, he's going to be throwing these short passes, and Hollywood's out there. Clearly he's on my list, Kraft. You already know how it is. So, all right, another guy I got. I don't know if you would have him on your list. I put Treylon Burks on this list. The 26th wide receiver off the board, and the upside of this guy is off the roof, off the charts. The thing is he's with Tennessee. I think a lot of people are down because Tennessee, they're about to go through that rebuilding. But I think as far as fantasy goes, Treylon Burks is literally the only wide receiver. And if people are, I like the talent. I think he's good. But if people really believe in him, then they should go hit on Treylon Burks. 60, his ADP is 67. So if you think this guy could be one of your top guys, I say go for it. The upside's there. There's no competition except for maybe with old Chig on Conquo. So let's just see it.
Yeah, I'm probably the lowest person on Burks as possible. I mean, it's not like I don't like the talent. It's the fact that I'm a firm believer in you have to be a absolute bona fide stud to be a wide receiver 1 on your team with a terrible quarterback play and no other receivers. I mean, there's only a few that's ever done it. It's like DeAndre Hopkins and shit. I can't even think of any more. He's like it.
Right.
Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore does it every now and again with terrible quarterback play, but I'm not putting his talent level with them guys that I just mentioned. And I just don't think he can overcome. If they would have got a Jordan Addison or something like that at wide receiver 2, I would feel a little bit more comfortable.
They got Kyle Phillips.
Treylon Burks. Yeah. Who's that? Who's Kyle Phillips? That little white guy that runs around and has been hurt all last year. You said Chig Okonkwo is the second option. Yeah. I just don't. It's tough to be high on a guy when you know he's going to be the focal point for a defense to pay attention to, and he's on a terrible team. with bad quarterback play. So I just don't. I like the talent, but it could work out eventually. And I don't like Will Levis as a backup, so I'm thinking the Titans could be bad for a very long time.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, that was just tough because how I feel. Always like situations, but if in a startup, his situation is bad, which means his stock is bad right now. That's why I say now is a good time because situations can't get better. I mean, who the fuck knows? Will Levis might be that guy, even though we fucking hate him. I mean, even though we hate that man, you never know. There ain't really no value. I'll take Will Levis. I'm just being honest. He's off my board. But hey, you know what I'm trying to say with Treylon Burks. You can if he's like I got Jordan Addison over here, and he's going ahead of Treylon Burks, and Jordan Addison's my third wide receiver. I mean, Treylon Burks is your third, fourth guy. Ain't so bad.
No, it's. I just think he's going probably right where he should be. I don't think he's a bad deal where he's going. I just don't think it's like a steal, just because of the age and like you said, the targets should definitely be coming his way, but
right.
They're coming his way through Tannehill and Will Levis, and like just say what Tannehill plays and he doesn't play well, and they put Levis in, and you might have 3 years of let's just try out Will Levis, see how good he is.
Oh Lord.
I'm not, and they're not going to be bad enough where they're going to get a great quarterback in the draft next year. I don't feel like either. So just worried about Treylon.
Yeah, I took Will Levis in that startup that we did. He just fell so far. I can't even remember what I got him in it.
It was the last pick of the startup draft.
Wasn't nobody hopping on that Will Levis. All right. Who was the one we just talked about? Oh, Treylon. Give me another one then, Kraft.
Well, this guy is right behind Hollywood. I actually really like this range for picking receivers. It's Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson at ADP 85. So pretty much going where Marquise Brown is going. I think I would. Oh, that would be tough trying to pick either Hollywood or Jahan Dotson there. That'd be a tough decision. But I mean, Jameson Williams, who I love, I'm one of the highest people on Jameson Williams, but I love Jahan Dotson too, and Jameson's going 16 picks ahead of Jahan Dotson. Godwin is going ahead. I would for sure take Jahan Dotson over Zay. That's a automatic for me. I don't know about anybody else, but he's just a good deal right now, and that it seems very odd because when he was on the field, he was great, and he's a sophomore receiver, so these guys are usually the highest up on ADP after they've shown a little bit of competence out there catching the football. So he's just kind of lost in the weeds with these sophomore receivers like Christian Watson and Jameson. These guys, Garrett Wilson, Olave, obviously way up at the top, but I think it's just a steal right there.
Yeah, man, got him on my list. Couldn't agree more. I think honestly, Kraft, I don't hear nobody talk about Jahan Dotson. I feel like me and you. I mean, I ain't saying we talk about him a lot, but I'm just saying I feel like we like him as much as anybody. I would have taken Jahan Dotson over a lot of these wide receivers this year if he was in this draft. Like knowing what I know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I would too. Quentin Johnston is going way ahead of Jahan Dotson, and I would take Jahan Dotson above him. At least he's the number 2 on his team. The future does look bright for Quentin Johnston, being that Keenan and Mike Williams are on the older side and could be gone soon. But as far as the talent goes, I like Dotson better.
I agree. He had 2 wide receiver 1 weeks last year, and multiple wide receiver 2 weeks. And if things work out with Sam Howell and Eric Bieniemy, that means Jahan Dotson's working out. So, yeah, this is a steal. This might be the biggest steal of them all. Honestly, favorite one. Let's see what else I got for you. Oh, here we go. I did have Zay Flowers on my list. Who'd you say you would take over? Oh, Jahan Dotson.
Yep.
I agree with you. I would take Jahan Dotson too. But here's a guy that I got. Chris Godwin. I think
Yeah.
year two off his ACL, and so I think he's just going to be better. And then they're about to be rolling out there with Baker Mayfield. I ain't saying it's going to be working out. I think Mike Evans. I would want no part of Mike Evans. But Chris
Same.
Godwin, he's just a PPR guy anyways. So those receptions can still rack up with Baker Mayfield as far as I can see it.
Yeah, Chris Godwin had 142 targets last year. I know that was with Tom Brady, and they were just tossing the ball around left and right, dumping it off. But that was, like you said, that was his first year off the ACL, and he came back a little early. So he should be more athletic, more talented this year, more healthy. So I'm all in on Chris Godwin, because when you got bad quarterback play, the underneath routes succeed really well. Look at Deontay Johnson when Ben Roethlisberger was there; it was heaven.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of usage I see out of Godwin. But I'm scared to death of Mike Evans.
Right. I'm with you. And Chris Godwin, he's still young, so he's still got years on him. He's only, what, 25? Is that right?
He is 27.
27. Jeez, he's a little bit older than I thought. I remember
Take
when
him
he was
off your
24.
list.
Nah, it's all good, man. I'll take Chris Godwin at 27. And who knows, man, if the Buccaneers are bad and they get one of these quarterbacks coming in next year, the situation gets better. Who knows? All of a sudden, this looks awesome. So I don't know. Chris Godwin's an easy buy, easy pick at his ADP.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that one. Chris Godwin is underrated. He kind of always has been. He's had a wide receiver 2 year in his past with Jameis Winston, so he's played with bad quarterbacks before.
Agreed. Got any more wide receivers for me?
Yeah, I got two. I'm just gonna name one without any analysis. It's just DeAndre Hopkins going at wide receiver 89.
Right.
The only reason I got him on there is because there's one player I want to compare him to, and that's Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is a year older than Hopkins. They've both been top 10 receivers multiple years. Not taking anything away from Devontae Adams. He's probably the best route runner in the NFL. But, Devontae Adams is going at, let me see here. Let me see. I lost him. Devontae Adams. He's going at ADP 44, and DeAndre Hopkins is going at 89. So you're talking 45 picks different. And DeAndre Hopkins is most likely going to end up on a team who has a good quarterback compared to Jimmy Garoppolo playing with Adams. So I just think that's a steal of a deal if you're a contending team right there. Because if he plays, and he plays for, say, the Bills or the Chiefs or the Eagles or whoever they're saying, he's going to be great.
Hey, saw he had a meeting with the Browns today or yesterday, one of these days. So, I mean, situation's probably going to get pretty good for D-Hop, and it could get great with D-Hop. I think if he goes to Kansas City or Cleveland, I think you got to look at D-Hop, especially in redraft. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Things could get nasty.
And that's the point I'm trying to make is say just in redraft, and I mean we got Adams at 31 and Hopkins at age 30. If Hopkins goes to the Browns, are you taking Hopkins or are you taking Adams with Garoppolo? First in redraft.
Hopkins.
That's what I'm saying. They're going 40 picks different.
Yeah.
In ADP and startups.
And it's not even a guarantee that Devontae Adams has Jimmy Garoppolo. He might be rolling out there with Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah.
So it could get it could get a little rough. I think I got one more. One more, but I won't really go into it. Is Jameis Williams? He's going as the 29th wide receiver off the board. I feel the same way about him as I do Treylon Burks. You'd go ahead, but except for I would feel better taking Jameson Williams, but because I just think he's better. But it's kind of the same thing. A young guy, Jameson Williams hadn't even played, so if somebody's tired of getting down on him, you might could buy him. But heck, in the startup draft, with his upside and potential, 29th wide receiver off the board, that's easy.
Yeah. And I got something. I love Jameson. I'm the highest on him, probably out of damn anybody, except for Zamil because he don't want to trade him, except for something stupid. But I do got some advice for everybody, all y'all Sam Laporta lovers out there. After week 6, if Sam Laporta's doing pretty well, looking pretty stout, rookie tight end, when Jameson comes back, trade Sam Laporta because them days are over. You got Jahmyr Gibbs, you got Jameson, you got Amon-Ra. Laporta's just going to be just another dude running around out there. So just trade him as soon as Jameson comes back. Trade him on the hype.
All right, Kraft. I got 3 tight ends. I ain't gonna really go into detail of these tight ends because you know how we feel about them. You got any tight ends?
I ain't got no tight ends, but I do have Cooper Kupp.
Ooh, I
Cooper
forgot you
Kupp.
had one more.
Yep. ADP at 33. He is the same age as Tyreek Hill, and he's going 10 picks later. And he's also going behind Stephon Diggs. So Cooper Kupp was the wide receiver 1 last year before he got hurt. He was averaging 22 points a game. Justin Jefferson, obviously great, averaged 21 points a game. Cooper Kupp is incredible. He's probably going to be in redraft, at least in the top, I would say top 3 or 4. It's between Tyreek Hill and him. You got Jefferson and Chase. So I would take him over Diggs for sure in Dynasty. And I love Tyreek. I'm not saying he's better than Tyreek Hill, but they are the same age. And Cooper Kupp has shown just how incredible he is. So I think he's a steal right there in the 3rd round.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely high on Cooper Kupp as far as this next redraft year. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, Cooper Kupp is a steal. I know when we did that startup with Phil, he said if he drops to me in the 3rd round, he's getting him, and he sure did. And so his ADP right now is 33.2. I'm really honest. Nobody's talking about him. I'm really surprised it's even that high. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm with you, Cooper Kupp. All right, real quick, Kraft. Tight ends that I like the ADPs. I got Chig Okonkwo. He's the 17th tight end off the board, and then I got Trey McBride. He's the 20th tight end off the board, and Greg Dulcich, 16th tight end off the board. And you know how it is, those ADPs. Those are pretty much shot in the dark. Well, I ain't gonna say shot in the dark. Calculated shots is what I'll say. Greg Dulcich going over there with Sean Payton. Trey McBride, year 2. I don't really see Zach. I mean, what's the deal with Zach Ertz? I think he signed a 3-year deal or something last year, didn't he? It don't matter. Trey McBride was the best pass catching tight end coming out of the draft last season. And then Chig, the same thing with old Treylon. These passes got to go somewhere, and here he is.
Yeah. I mean, Chig, I definitely agree with Chig. And Dulcich, I was going to write him down too. Dulcich should be used in any kind of role. They said he's going to use, in the Joker role? Is that what you said? Sean Payton, he's going to use him. Chig, I love the talent of him. I've been trying to get him everywhere. But a couple guys, tight ends, since we don't like to spend a whole lot of time on tight ends. But I got Tyler Higbee going off as a tight end 28. Who do the Rams have to throw the ball to? I know this is a short-term play, and it's not really great for Dynasty, but I would love to have him. I mean, Gesicki's going, like 20 picks before him.
Right.
He's still going to be splitting work with Hunter Henry. And I just think if you're in a contending team, you can't get much better than Tyler Higbee because the weapons that they have is non-existent outside of Cooper Kupp. And I know Phil is down with Tyler Higbee. He's always trying to get Higbee. And Cade Otton's another one. He's going at ADP 223, going behind Jelani Woods, Noah Fant, Jawan Johnson, Gerald Everett, Dawson Knox. I mean, this is a second-year tight end that could get a little bit better this year. I'm not too high on them, but I would take a shot.
So look, man, that about really wraps it on up. We gave a list of players that me and Kraft, if at their values, would like to take in a startup draft. We know we just threw a lot at you, but these are just guys we like. Kraft, man, you got anything you want to say?
Not nothing much. Just hit on these guys. And ADP is one thing. When you're doing your startup drafts, don't be afraid to just go get your guy.
Right. Agree. I mean, you can look at this list, and this ain't a random list. This is all these startup drafts going on. Calculate, averages of where they're going, and in the end, you can look at it all you want, but ADP really don't matter if as long as if you just go get your guy and you like it, you see it, man. Especially in rookie drafts, man. Just go get it, take a shot at it. That's really the best advice we can give you.
Yep, pretty much just do mock drafts, plan out your startups, and be diligent about it. Listen to the podcast because we're here to help. And like we said, get your guy. Be smart about it. Don't get Marquise Brown in the first round, nothing like that. But just be diligent when you're doing your drafts.
Yep. You can find me at Hamm on Twitter. We are posting the podcast and all that on there, and get at us a little bit. You can find him at Craftman Pack Fan. Anything left to say, Craftman?
No, we good.
All right, man. Let's get on out of here, man. We out.
Peace.